Gentlemen, we are so back as it is time for our first road course race of the NASCAR Cup Series season on NASCAR 07. Race 16 of 36. That means after tonight we have just 10 races to go until the chase as we come to the Infineon Raceway for the Dodge Save Mart 350, of course, now known as Sonoma Raceway. We're at the current layout of Sonoma, not the carousel version that they had, or the extra carousel version, I should say, that they had for a couple of years there in the late 2010s, early 2020s, but back to the same version, of course, that they used to run for a long time, and then obviously brought back to the Cup Series for the last 2 seasons. Should be an interesting one. I qualified 20th, so we're starting right in the middle of the pack. Like I said, I didn't know what to expect for the road courses because we haven't raced on road course with this kind of equipment, C-tier equipment for Dave Blaney. And qualify mid-pack, it's gonna be a little interesting to see how this is gonna go. We definitely have to survive the start. There's probably gonna be a lot of stack ups. Hopefully we don't get ran into from behind. I'm just really hoping that is the case. Survive the carnage is gonna be the name of the game today. Once things start to space out, if we can get a long green flag running, then we'll start to get on the strategy side of things. But until then, yeah, it's gonna be a grind, I think, for these first few laps. Just got to keep the card underneath me and hope we can keep it as clean as possible. Got to keep the speed in it, whatever speed we have, because again, we are starting mid-pack. 20th place, made some minor adjustments post-qualifying. Green flag is in the air. Dale Jarrett on the pole, and we are underway. I'm checking up immediately. Little contact with Scott Riggs. I'm so sorry, Scott. I was leading on him quite a bit. Now I'm 3 wide middle. I'm getting out of that. Honestly, that was way more tame than I was expecting it to be. I took it, I babied it going through there. I was well aware with where we started that it was going to be utter chaos. And it probably will in the hairpins for the first couple laps as well. Now we're going to try to attack into this first hairpin. 3 wide, a little contact with Hines Good in the 180. We'll let him go into the S's. So we're not side by side. This is the tightest area of the racetrack to try to run 2x2. 6 spots gained on the first lap. I'll take that. We might be able to get a few more in this second hairpin down into turn 10. Taking a peek to the inside. Blaney underneath Good. Going to pass him. Going to get by the 101. Underneath Dale Jr., Paul Menard. Then Jeff Burton in the 31, and just like that, up to 10th. Couple RCR cars side by side, Jeff Burton, Kevin Harvick. Have to attack the S's? I will later. Oh, got down into the sand. It's dead grass, but I'm going to call it sand. It acts like sand on this racetrack. It slows the car down a lot. Big move. Not locking the brakes up at all in the hairpin either. I'm just driving it in deeper, getting it to stick. And up to 8th. So although the qualifying pace wasn't there, the race pace seems all right. Dale Jarrett has led the first 2 laps from the pole. Well, I should say, will lead the second lap from the pole once he gets back to the start-finish line this time. Another couple of passes made there for Dave Blaney. Up to 6th. That final corner there in turn 11. Able to get by Sterling Marlin and Martin Truex Jr. Jarrett right on the bubble, inside of the bubble, coming into the race today. You don't really think of Dale Jarrett as a road course racer per se, so it's kind of interesting that he qualified on the pole. Seeing Tony Stewart up in 4th, that's not surprising. Elliott Sadler's in 3rd, so both Robert Yates Fords are up in the top 3. What a stellar season they've had so far. Both of them are in the chase if we were to start that today. So running 3rd right now, looking great for him. Pass on Bobby Labonte through turn 4A, down towards turn 7. I should say turn 4B, then into 7. held clear, tried to attack on Tony Stewart, but couldn't make the pass. Really trying to make as clean of passes as possible. It's very easy to make rivals in this type of racetrack, and it's a long race, 110 laps. We've got time, and we've definitely got speed in this number 22 Caterpillar Dodge. Now down onto the inside of the racetrack, Blaney through the final corner, turn 11, makes the pass on Tony Stewart, and just like that, we are up to 4th after starting 20th, just 3 laps in. 10 spots were gained on lap 1. Made sure we weren't going to attack through the carousel, but we were going to attack in the hairpins, but not overly aggressive. I made a little contact with the 180 of Hans Good in turn 7, but outside of that, though, it was all good. Ethan Chua, Wade, Easy Network, Michael Turner, thanks for tuning in. Camera is back. Game muted, or am I hearing things? I can check when I get to a long straightaway. When I get to the front stretch, I'll check to see if it's muted. So I don't mess my cornering up. Yeah, 3 Fords, 1, 2, 3. Greg Biffle's actually the second place car. Another driver who never really ran great on road courses through his Cup career. I would know as a Greg Biffle fan. Although we did have a win at Portland in the Truck Series way back in the day. But yeah, in the Cup Series, wasn't as good. Pass on Elliott Sadler through turn 11, up to 3rd on lap 4. Our first caution-free race of the season happened at Michigan yesterday. So we went all 400 miles without a yellow. All right, I'll pause it real quick. I want to see if the audio is on. It is muted. Thank you for that. Yeah, sometimes I just forget to unmute it from where we leave off, because I have to mute it when we go to the main menu, so that way I don't get copyrighted for the music. I could just, turn the music off completely, but I do like listening to it on the soundtrack side of things when I'm gathering the points and throwing them up at the top of the screen at the end of every stream the night before. Medium difficulty on NASCAR? No, dude, I'm doing Legend all the way. Or whatever the hardest is. I would assume it's Legend just because that's what it is for all the other EA games I've played. Jared's really extending his lead over Greg Biffle right now. Big gain in turn 10, just to kind of set up as Blaney gets to the inside of Biffle. Locks the brakes up a little bit before entering this corner down in turn 11, but the pass is going to be clear. Now looking to gain ground on the 88 of Jarrett, who has led the first 5 laps of the race. What was wrong with the camera? Yeah, so nothing was wrong with the camera. Apparently there's a switch on the laptop up at the top. I literally had no idea there's a switch up at the top to turn the camera off and on. So I was just going through my settings the entire time, and I could never find anything. And I tried to Google it, and it was telling me to go a bunch of different places. Little did I know there was literally a lock on it. And I accidentally flipped it when I went to open my laptop up today. And I was like, oh, there's a switch here. I'm like, no way, this is probably for the camera. Go figure. That's exactly what it was. So we had the camera off for a week for really no reason. I mean, I've been using this laptop since August, and I never knew that there was a switch up in the top of the screen. I know my last laptop definitely wasn't like that. It's only the second one that I've ever used, really. That is truly my own. Thought I had work. I did have work. I work today. I work tomorrow. I really thought we were going to get by Dale Jarrett. I set up wide on the entry into turn 11. Tried to get the undercut by the exit of the corner. Big bounce off the curb by Jarrett. All four wheels coming up off the ground. That's how we had to move under Bobby Labonte in the top 5 a little bit ago. And now we're going to pass Jarrett in turn 7 as a result of that as well. So I'll take it. 6.5 laps from 20th to 1st. Qualifying speed wasn't there. Race speed is. And now we'll see if Dave Blaney can start to pull away. These curbs can be violent here at Sonoma on this game. If you hit them in the right spot. It seems like turn 4A, turn 4B. I keep getting that corner mixed up. I don't know why it's not like... There's a turn 4A, turn 5B, and then the first hairpin's turn 7. I never understood that. Like, where... The only thing I can think of is the other layout of this racetrack. Maybe that's why it's turn 7, because if you go through the old carousel, you'd technically have like 5, 6. And then the first turn, which would be 4A on this circuit, would just be 4 on the other circuit. Which leads me to believe that that's probably the original circuit, which is why I think NASCAR ran there as like the 30th year anniversary of running at Sonoma. There for a couple seasons, 2019 specifically, but then they ran it again, I believe, in 2020. Or 21. They didn't run at all 2020. 2020 they ran at the Daytona road course. If I remember correctly. A wall scrape there on the front stretch. Just lightly touched inside. Joe Jarrett looking to attack. Good little battle for the lead going on right now. Blaney holds on. Who I play on 08? I mean, I don't know. I'll end up leaving that up to you guys. You'll get to vote for who I'm racing as again, as you have for every gameplay up to this point. I usually pick one of the seasons for the Cup Series, but for the first one, I'll leave it up to you guys. I don't know the exact driver roster for that year. Like, I don't know if there's anybody excluded from the game. Kind of like in this game, Carl Edwards isn't in it for licensing, and there's some other drivers that might have ran near full-time that aren't in it, because I think there's only 35 or 36 cars in this game. Like, I know of the guys, most of it should be the same, but there should be a few changes. Like, Mark Martin's probably going to be in the 8 car. Or the 01, sorry, the 01 car. I don't know why I said the 8. The 8 would be 2008. I think he drove the 8. I was just automatically thinking NASCAR 08 as 2008, but technically it's the 2007 season. Putting a little bit of a gap over Dale Jarrett. Zero clue how many pit stops we're going to have in this race. It's really going to be dependent on how many cautions we have. I like how patient I was on the initial start. If I ever find myself back in traffic again, I'm just going to have to do the same thing. Just going to have to trust that we have speed in the car. Honestly, the setup I had in qualifying probably did cost me a little bit of time. considering I qualified 20th. There was also only one lap, which I kind of forgot. I got to the start-finish line, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, there was only one lap of qualifying at this time period. I'm so used to group qualifying just to run as many laps as you want in a certain time period, so I just that and automatically assumed that it was 2 laps just like every other track. Not the case. Because I've started last, like at Old Spice Speedway the last couple times we've raced there for the Busch Series and stuff. So it's been quite some time since we've actually ran a road course race on this game that I actually qualified. Ryan Berwick, thanks for tuning in. Boss emailed you about extra money. Definitely take it. You don't get those opportunities much. You could always use more money. It's the financial wizardry in me. As somebody that doesn't work a lot of overtime, I have more often the last few years. So that way it can, you know, help fund me for other situations, you know, to go to more races. Just stuff I want to do. Putting back a little bit more on the side. I already have like retirement money coming out of my check every couple weeks because I get paid bi-weekly. So that's always going to be there, but that'll be slightly greater because it's a percentage when I work overtime too. But I'm not one of those people that takes it every single time it's available because it's available, you know, so much for me through the spring into summer. Like, I do take weeks off. There are some people that don't, and they literally work like 6-7 days a week for 7-8 months. I'm not one of those people. More power to them. So it looks like a debris caution, our first yellow of the day. Just about a dozen laps in, Brian Vickers brings out the caution after going yellow free in the last race. Catching the early caution here today in this race. Lap 16 restart, green flag back in the air. Jared got a good launch through the restart zone. And Biffle's going to get alongside Jared, side by side for second. I would imagine there was some damage because of the stack up on the initial start going through the carousel. Luckily, it was clean where I was at. I made very slight contact with Scott Riggs, but that was it. A lot of cars bouncing off that curb getting out of turn 4A. That might cause an incident at some point in this race. I've seen some ginormous curb hops just in our work way through the field. Two pit stops. Get to lap 19-20 before being halfway out of fuel. I mean, yeah, if we get to like lap 20, 40, 44, yeah, definitely. Really, if we get to 17, 18, we could. But at the same time, we did have a caution. So we did have 3 cautions. Well, and we got another caution. Honestly, oh, man. It's tough. It's tough. Another debris caution. There might be a lot more cars with damage than what I think there is. So first the hood flew off Brian Vickers' car, then the 141. So back-to-back cautions within a couple of laps here. Lap 12, lap what, 16? 17? We were on 17. We ran 1 green flag lap. We'll stay out again. I mean, our crew chief hasn't said anything about the rest of the field pitting up to this point, so it sounds like nobody's pitted yet in the race. I just don't want to give up track position, you know? That's the only thing I'm scared about. And we got another yellow right as soon as we got through the restart zone that time. We weren't even up to speed through turn 1. Tony Stewart's been gaining some positions on these last couple of restarts, too. More debris. All 3 cautions for debris so far, and this one's on Mark Martin. Front of his car's crunched. I wonder if they stack up every green flag restart through that carousel when they're single file, too. And we just have cars adding more and more and more damage. You know, how many laps that are yellow are we going to run today? Because 3 cautions for 9 caution laps so far. Green flag back in the air, lap 25. Good launch for Dale Jarrett. And Tony Stewart as well, also trying to get in there. Blaney stays in front of Stewart. Puts the fight to Jarrett in the 88 car. Trying to get him back. Not quite clear yet. Oh, it sounded like there was contact behind us. I think Sadler and Stewart got together. Stewart almost got against the wall. And Jarrett had the inside and the advantage down in turn 7. Great restart to get alongside of us in the carousel there for Dale Jarrett. Didn't race here in 2020. Caution's out again. I don't think we were in the lead yet. I think Jarrett had the lead. It's our 4th yellow. Our 2nd straight caution without running a green flag lap. We've ran 1 green flag lap in the span of 3 yellows. 4 cautions total in the race now. We might have the most cautions in a single race this season. I think we had a dozen at Martinsville earlier in the year. I'm going to stay out again. Everybody else stayed out. I mean, can we make it a 1 stop? I mean, how many cautions are we going to get? Green flag back in the air, lap 29. I mean, maybe we can make it on 1. It's so tough to call because, again, we don't know exactly how many yellows we're going to get. All 4 cautions have been for debris. Blaney did not lose a spot in the restart that time, but of course was in 2nd rather than the lead. So trying to charge after Dave Blaney. And he'll have the advantage now down to the inside. Turn 4B, clear. Big bounce off the curb by Jarrett. Didn't even have to wait until turn 7 up here. And caution again, further back. Wow. 5 cautions already. It's only lap 29. Oh, this was a crash this time. This is our first incident. And it was Kyle Busch and Paul Menard getting together. Yeah, I wondered if we were going to get a crash there. I'd seen... Oh, man, that was a harder impact than I thought it was. There's no safer barrier on that wall either. They were past the, like, the tire wall cushion part of it. Well, we're going to stay out again. Just every time I stay out, I'm just hoping the rest of the field stays out with me, and so far they have. Lap 33. 5 cautions. But yeah, that was a crash that time. Jarrett again. It's been great on the restarts. And once more, it's right there with Dave Blaney, but I don't think he's going to be able to get around him this time. Nope. We are halfway out of gas. I hit halfway out of gas during that caution. So, I mean, we're right there. We've only ran 12 green flag laps in this race, though. So, I don't know how many green flag laps I can make in a full run, honestly. You know, is it 24 or is it, you know, less than that? Is it more than that? Like, what is it actually? Because we've had 15 caution laps already. You know, I could do the math and just say, yeah, it's going to be 24 more than likely, or right around there. But, oh, man. We're going to try to make it to halfway. But then you're also banking on, if we make it to halfway, we're going to need 5 cautions in the second half of the race. Just like we've had in the first half. If we get more cautions in the first half of the race. Yeah, I don't know. There's no way to tell exactly how far we can go. Because halfway is lap 55. That we're able to lead a bunch of laps up at the front of the field by staying out of the pits, other than the one restart Dale Jarrett got around me on. And he did lead the first 6 laps before we took the lead in the race as well. And we got another caution. Go figure. 6th one of the race, lap 34. 1 crash, 5 debris yellows. Oh, no, we might have had another crash. Turn 4 again? Yep. Got parking lot in between turn 4B. It was Paul Menard? Jeez. Menard and Busch again. This time it was more a Menard than Busch. Busch kind of sandwiched him in the wall the first time. That time he hit the wall on his own. I'm staying out again. And they pitted. They finally pit. I did not. Well, they're going to have fresh tires now. It's only about 12 lap fresher tires, though. Green flag. Which is still a difference. There's a little contact up in the carousel. Contact between Dave Blaney and Dale Jarrett. Jarrett got into the right rear corner panel of Blaney. So Blaney on the 12-lap older tires at the front of the field. That slight stack up after the contact. Allowed for the 22 to drive away. Sadler pressuring Jarrett. And it looks like Sadler may get around him for second. Jarrett obviously winning the race off of pit road. So he's been up in the top 2 positions all day. But in danger of losing that now. Be the first to pit last. I mean, yeah, that's the idea. But if I have to pit 1 extra time, I'm kind of screwed. But it was so tough to tell. Like, I don't know what they were doing. So they finally pitted under the 6th caution. If we can make it to lap 55 and just hope we get 6 cautions in the second half of the race, we're going to be okay. But that's asking for a lot to ask for 6 yellows. But it's not impossible. Alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today. I'm not saving tires anymore. Whatever tires I was saving, I was kind of finessing my way through the corners. Sure, I still got to do that to make fast laps, but I really got to go now because once they get strung out back there, I think they're going to put more pressure on me now that they have the 12-lap fresher Goodyears. Track position's always key when you're on the road courses. I don't want to pit right at lap... Oh, we got another caution. Well, it's going to bunch us back together again, but our 7th yellow of the race. I mean, we're almost 212 already. It's another turn 4 crash. David Stremme, Kyle Busch. It looks like Stremme's got a ton of damage, too, so he's probably going to have debris. I see Tony Raines has a lot of damage. Kyle Busch involved in it again. Big wheel hop by the 149 car also involved. I'll tell you what. I don't think we've seen this many cautions at Sonoma before. Usually it's Watkins Glen we get a bunch of yellows on these EA games. Not today. I'm staying out again. I'm not pitting and put myself at the rear of the field. I see other cars in there with damage. I have to try to time this out as best as we possibly can. Green flag back in the air, lap 43 following our 7th yellow. Trying to block Sadler. Oh, I was looking out of the rear view the whole time. I overran the corner. And I can't get back on the track because there's a bunch of cars there. I was looking at Sadler the whole time. Wasn't focused on the corner up ahead. And now the lead is lost. Oh, it's Harvick. I don't care if I hit him. I did bump him from behind a little bit. Oh, he almost hooked us. Remember, it was Harvick who crashed us at Pocono when we were battling for the win in the final 5 laps of that race. I haven't got my payback. But, little bump and run in turn 4B, and he almost just hooked us in the left rear down that straightaway. Headed for turn 6. I don't know how I saved it. That car was probably yawed out so much to the left. Caution. Can get by Jarrett. Back to the inside of Bobby Labonte again. I think Labonte's still there. Yeah, he's definitely there. There's a little bit of contact. Now Labonte backed off. Try not to blow the corner that time. Pushing so hard just to keep him behind me. Well, Jarrett's side by side with Labonte now, so I think Jarrett's just got a quick car. I mean, he was up here leading laps multiple times for a reason. Now it's his teammate Elliott Sadler leading. Sadler, only the 3rd different leader of the race. With all the cautions we've seen. Pass on the outside to turn 4B there for Stewart. He probably gave me some leeway there, I would assume. Great closing rate through turn 10. Locking the brakes up big time, getting down into 11. I wheel hopped it bad. Oh, man. I couldn't keep it off the inside wall. I lost so much ground there. I kind of wheel hopped it, and then when I got to the curb, it hooked me to the right. We actually went 2 green flag laps there. This is the longest green flag run since the first 12 laps before our first caution. We actually went 2 laps that time. I would have thought David Stremme and Tony Raines would have had their debris yellows by now. They're still going to happen. We have definitely not seen the last yellow here today. Took about a half a lap to get back to Elliott Sadler. So close to the back bumper. If you look at the red M&M, screaming bloody murder on the back of the car. Is he hanging on to the quarter panel and yelling? That's what it kind of looks like. All right, I didn't wheel hop at that time. That's definitely my passing corner. That's definitely the best passing corner of the track, which I kind of figured coming in anyway, but oh, I almost went too wide there. It's definitely starting to get tight on certain corners of the track. I will free it up, though. I'm scared. Scared if I free it up. It's hard to make an adjustment change when we may only have to pit one time in the race. I mean, we're going to have to hope. We're going to have to go one stop. I mean, we're going to have to hope for a lot of cautions if we're going to make it on one stop. It's not the bet I wanted to make, but, you know, that's what sucks when you're the leader in this kind of a race where it's just a caution fest. It gives so many opportunities for everybody else to do opposite of you, and you can't really control that because they're behind you when pit road opens. You don't want to give up the track position because I know what it's like back there. We've seen all the cautions. I don't want to be in that mess and wreck out or significant enough damage that we can't make it. I think we can get to halfway, or at least close to it. Man, I had to check up a lot in turn one. Turn one seems like I'm tighter there than anywhere else on the racetrack right now. Now that we have laps on these tires. It's definitely going to have to be a 4-tire stop when we come in. Still not going to make any adjustment changes. Yeah, quarter of a tank now. It's going to be close on if we can get to halfway or not. But, again, we had 7 cautions to get to halfway without pitting. We're going to blend somewhere in the middle of traffic. Although, really, we're not that far into the restart. So I actually think most of the field's going to get around us. What are we trying to think here? I think this is our 5th lap since the restart right now. So we run a handful more. Yeah, we don't need a DNF. We gotta... I'd like to lock up the number 1 seed as soon as we can. Then, when you're in position like this to win a race, when you have the best car, you really want to win the race. There's nothing like losing when you have the best car. That always sucked when I was like growing up, and there were opportunities where I should have won and I didn't. Where I would like, we would have multiple heat races, for instance, like in quarter midgets. And they would kind of invert the field one heat to the next. And there may be like 5 or 6 in your heat. You know, nothing ridiculous because they're inverting the entire field because you don't actually qualify for most of the like local places you would go to. It would be a pill draw. So, you know, if you started first in Heat A, then you'd have to start last of like the 6 or 8, however many there were. And there were times I swept the heats. And then, you know, you get into the race and we didn't keep up with the track because the heat races are usually in the like daylight into the dusk. And then by the time the feature comes, it cools off so much into the night, especially in the Midwest. And, yeah, we just like wouldn't keep up and I would just be too tight or something like that. And we're expecting it to be tight. So I like try to free it up and then it doesn't tighten up enough. So then I'm too free in the race. It's a really big guessing game. That curb launched me to the outside that time. I think I caught a little more of it with the middle of the car than I had before that. Lap 50 this time by. The hope is to make it on one stop. Lap number 8 currently since the restart. Doing well on about those 12 lap older tires compared to the rest of the field. Honestly, from when I pit, they're probably going to pit about 12 laps after me if we do stay green that long. Just because they won't be able to go any further than that on fuel. Maybe there's a chance they have to pit 2 times yet. From when they pitted the first time. Well, caution's out. Oh, man. We got to stay out, I think. I think I have to stay out. Another debris caution. Looks like, who is this? Kurt Busch? It's hard to tell from that camera angle for me. Oh, no, it was Tony Raines. Okay, so it was Raines. I was expecting a debris caution off of him. It was probably his front bumper and his hood still intact or vice versa. He's probably going to lose another piece of debris. We got to stay out. I have to stay out for at least one more. Flag back in the air. Lap 54. That's why I didn't want to pit yet. We're not quite halfway. We're still a couple laps. I think we can get another debris caution before we pit. That was our 8th caution of the race. If you look at the fuel, it is flashing on the indicator, but it's not dark red yet. So we're definitely under an 1/8 of a tank of gas left in it, but we should be able to stretch this a couple more laps yet. About 8-lap green flag run that time. The rest of the field did stay out of the pits again. At 50, I mean, the further we could go, the better. If we catch another caution, I think I am going to pit under the next yellow, but the hope is that we stay green long enough until we have to. Actually, you know what? I hope I pit under green, because I think I'll lose less positions if I pit under green versus if I pitted under yellow. Well, I don't know, because now we just got bunched up again. We had 8 laps. We were starting to spread apart just a little bit. Now I don't really know if that would be the case again. Tony Stewart, by the way, is in second now. He got by Sadler on that last restart. Dale Jarrett's still back there in 4th. So Tony Stewart now going to be the one to try to take his first lead of the race once Blaney pits. Curb slowed me down so much there. Still not flashing red yet. I don't want to take it too far when it does start to flash red because it's obviously a road course. Like intermediate tracks, I could probably make it about 4 laps when it starts to do that. I'm not going to go 4 laps, that's for sure. Maybe 2. It depends on what point of the track it gets to that would be the question. Just ran our fastest lap of the race. Minute 14. Second lap barrier. We are halfway, by the way. As of that last time at the line. Don't be a Chase Elliott. What does that mean? Running out of gas? There's been a lot of guys run out of gas in the past. Wasn't it, was it AJ Allmendinger that was trying to save gas under caution one year? And, I think he was in the 47 at that time. Where he was leading and then he lost the lead during the caution because the car wouldn't fire back up again. He was turning it off, turning it on as they usually would. And then right into the carousel up that hill, he couldn't get it fired until like he fell to 6th or 7th and then had to restart back at 6th or 7th. I think it was AJ. Jimmy Johnson won that race, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe he wasn't in the 47 at that time. Was it Ambrose? Maybe it was Ambrose in the 47. It might have been Ambrose. Yeah, okay. I caught myself right before I looked at the chat. Yeah, it was Ambrose. I knew it was a 47 car. That's why I was thinking it was AJ. But yeah, when I was thinking about it, I knew Johnson won, and he won there in 09. So yeah, AJ was in the 22, I think, at the time. Penske. 2009. Somewhere around there. Maybe he was in the... No, he was in the 43 still. Yeah, AJ was in the 43. Kurt wasn't in the 22 yet. I don't believe. I'm going to go one more lap, by the way. Well, never mind. I don't have to. Caution's out. I'll be pitting under yellow. I was going to stretch it one more. Because it just went to that... Oh, my goodness. Scott Riggs takes a tumble. And it was that turn 4 wall again. Every time we see a crash there, they just get more and more violent. Next time, somebody's going to flip and then somebody's going to hit them while they're upside down or something. As they get more and more violent. Alright, well, we're going to have to pit. And we got to hope that we can make it to the end. It is going to be a grind to try to make it all the way to the end of the race. But this is our 9th caution, so it isn't impossible. We might need to get about another 8 or 9 yellows to make it, but it's not impossible. And we could get that many cautions, too. 9 cautions already. We're barely past halfway. The most we've had in the single race this season at Martinsville was 12. We had 9 in the Coke 600 last week on Friday in a 600-mile race. I've kept the car clean. Granted, I've been out in front for most of it, but even when we started 20th. Now I'm going to be at the back of all of it, though. We're going to have cars wrecking in turn 4 right in front of us. This is where, this is going to make or break our race right here. Is going to be restarting in the pack. We're going to try to make it on fuel. No clue when the rest of the field's going to pit here. I would imagine they can only go about 12 more green flag laps than what we went there, so we'll have to wait and see. Green flag is back in the air. Tony Stewart leads for the first time today. He is now the 4th different leader. If we do have debris on the track, we definitely have to miss it. We could cut a tire, and we got a caution probably for debris already, so I think I saw it. I think I did see it up on the high side. Yeah. It was right at the start-finish line. And it's from the 96 again of Tony Raines. So this time it was his hood. Yep, there it was. 178 car ran it over. Just behind him. And then he couldn't stop after the fact. He got guys just hauling around that line of cars. Under caution. Well, that's the yellow number 10. That helps us for fuel. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with those quick cautions. Look at David Stremmy's car. He's going to... That hood's going to blow off any minute. Might be right here. I've got to pick a different line just in case it is. I'll be running somewhere different than David Stremmey. I backed way off. I'm backing way up right here too. We're going to get more cautions. I'll get them later. If we stay green to the end, so be it. But, yep. Oh, there it is. I don't know why I waited till the last second to move out of the way. I felt like I saw it sooner than when I moved out of the way. Yeah, that was him. I knew that was going to happen. That's why I backed way out of it. And I still almost hit it. And I had probably 6 to 8 car lengths behind Sorensen, and Stremmey was a car in front of him. It's number 11. Why am I not topping off on fuel? Oh my gosh, it just dawned on me. I could be topping off on gas right now. Maybe we'll get another one. Ah, there we go. Okay, I'm definitely topping off. Unless they all pit. If they all pit, then I'm not going to top off. That was our 12th caution. I can't even tell who it was that time. What kind of camera angle is that? This is going to be a quick stream. Well, I guess we are about an hour in already. It's dragging on longer than I thought. We're wasting enough time under the caution. It was Kyle Busch that time. He was involved in 2 or 3 incidences. Oh, why did I spam through it that quick? I got to be patient, man. Because now if they all pit, I'm going to be screwed. They're probably not. I mean, we haven't even ran a green flag lap since I pitted. So I can't have burned much fuel, but it is worth topping off. Might as well change tires, too, because there's nobody behind me. This is allowing Tony Stewart to lead quite a few laps, though. No tire limit for us on this season. Not until we get to NASCAR 08. Yeah, this makes it closer for us. It's just all going to depend how many cautions are we going to get the rest of the way. Like, so far, so good, but 12. One more caution, that's already going to be the most we've had this season. We might have the NASCAR record here today. 22, I think, is the record. We might break a NASCAR record for the most cautions in a race. I'm not counting NASCAR 21 Ignition when we had like 40 cautions at Phoenix because of the pace car glitch. Like, that will never be broken on the channel, I'm sure. And that's a more modern game anyway, so we'll have a different record for this time period. All right. So we can only go like 24 green flag laps on fuel. And we still got 38 laps to go at the line. So we're 16 laps short if for some reason it went green the whole way. But every caution we get starts to go quicker and quicker. Slightly more on the attack that time. I think we got to go now. I mean, they're. Oh, Tony Raines went wide. Turn 4 is going to be. Here we go. Turn 4B. Yeah, they're stacking up a little bit there. There was no wreck, so that's good for us. Saw some smoke up ahead. 2 and nearly 3 wide into the hairpin. They're still 3 wide. How are we going to funnel into the S's? There's going to be a lot of 2x2 racing going through here. Well, we made it where we were so far. They're going to stack up in this hairpin down in turn 11 as well. Get by Michael Waltrip, Kyle Busch. Yeah, get by Kyle Busch, Scott Riggs, find Paul Menard, get by him. I think he's in the rear view. No, that's Robbie Gordon. Never mind. No, I can't talk. Wow. Paul Menard, he's been in 3 of the incidences. So, definitely get around him. Tony Raines probably had like 3 cautions for debris. At least 2. Here's Scott Riggs who flipped. He was on his roof earlier. Attack it on fresh tires here for Dave Blaney. Contact with Casey Kane. That launched us up into the wall. Glad we didn't get hit from behind either. And we got a caution. It wasn't us, though. It could have been, but it wasn't. So we can't keep our track position here. And it was Reed Sorensen and Denny Hamlin who got together. I can't pit now. I'm halfway through the field. We've made our bed. 38 laps. Do my math. We're going to need 5 cautions. That was 1. 5 cautions is going to be real close. As long as we don't go past the scheduled distance with a green-white checker, which could happen. But that was caution number 13 total. Made it through like a version. I didn't see that. Yep, they're all pitting now. Well, we definitely have to stay out. We're going to get back to the lead. A little bit of damage, but nothing too major. Tony Stewart won the race out of the pits. He's in second. Here we go. And they probably all repaired their damage of those who had damage because of the pit stop. So lap 78. Oh, man, I really hope we get more cars with damage. We got too many laps left. We only went about 2 laps on green flag tires. So these first couple... Well, there we go. We got a caution. I think they stacked up in the carousel. There shouldn't be anybody with damage anymore. They all just pit. Yeah, that's exactly... Oh, well, now we got more cars with damage. There we go. I was going to say, everybody was clean now. Until Michael Waltrip got sandwiched. Hit the back of the 170. Oh, my gosh, there's debris everywhere. Kyle Petty's got some debris. I think Tony Raines broke some pieces off his car again. My goodness. 14 yellows. We still need 3 more cautions. 3 more cautions to at least be close. 4 would secure us, but 3 to get us close. Green flag back in the air. 29 to go. We just clinched the most laps led. Survived the restarts, and we're okay. There's so many cars with damage again. All at the tail end of the field. They probably just log jammed again. We just didn't get a yellow for it that time. Michael Waltrip's probably been concussed multiple times in that one crash. Could you imagine if that was the next gen getting hit in the rear like that? Oh, Sadler crashes from second. Right in front of the rest of the field. We got a parking lot off of turn B yet again. 4B, not turn B. He got hung up on Stewart in the curve. Labonte hits him. Oh my gosh. Good thing we were ahead of that. I saw that out of the rear view. Poor Bobby Labonte had nowhere to go. Then there were a couple guys piling into the 43. Okay, 2 to 3 more yellows. 158 on the first run. He should be fine after pit. That was with 8 cautions, though. That's why 9. Yeah, it was with 9 cautions to get 58 laps. So that's why I was kind of doing my math there that we were going to need 3 to 4. Now I think 2 to 3 will be okay. So we're going to burn a little bit of fuel under caution. And we have ran a few green flag laps. And full green, I think, is 24. And we have 25 to go right now. Needing 2 to 3 more cautions. Sadler going to fight to get back into second of the restart as he gets by Tony Stewart. Labonte, Jarrett door-to-door. Big bounce off the curb for the leader, Dave Blaney. Oh, Jarrett almost got against the wall out of turn 4B. Yet again, I did not think that was going to be Calamity Corner today, honestly. Coming into this race, I was assuming it would be like turn 11 or something. Maybe even turn 7, like one of the hairpins. I did not think it was going to be that corner. Lot of racing left. Potentially. I guess it depends on how much we get from a yellow flag instance. But yeah, 1 second lead. Fresher tires, it's definitely turning well in turn 1. So I have to be leery on the fact that it is going to be tight in turn 1. The more laps we put on the tires. Again, we're going to need 2 to 3 more cautions if we're going to make it on fuel to the end by my calculations. So still quite a bit of time left in this race. 24 to go. And 3 laps are taken under the caution, so that's really not a lot of time to get 2 to 3 yellows. Well, there's one of them. I need 2 to 3. Now I need 1 to 2. I need 1 to 2 more yellows, and we're probably going to get like 5 or 6 more. And it's turn 4B. Go figure yet again. I can't tell who got hung up that time. A couple cars got stuck behind the guy sideways. Denny Oh, Scott Riggs again. Riggs pounds it, Hamlin right into him. How many guys are going to DNF from this race? Probably not many, because that's just the way it's going to be. This is our 15th caution of the night. It is a wild one in Sonoma. All right, 1 to 2 more cautions, and we should be good on fuel. 20 to go at the line here for the race leader, Dave Blaney. Trying to get his first career road course race victory. In the first one of the season. Man, Watkins Glen is usually this. Not Sonoma. I don't think I've had Sonoma be a wreckfest to this extent on an EA game up to this point. I haven't been involved in any of it. I was patient when I was in the pack, knowing that it was possible because we had seen so many incidences. they leapfrog off that outside curb off turn 4. I'm confused at why it took 12 laps to get our first caution, and then they started piling on. We went 12 laps to start this race caution-free. That's the longest green flag run. We got 8 laps, like, right in the middle of the race before I got to my first and only stop so far, but outside of those 2 runs of 12 and 8 laps, it's been like 1, 2, 3 at the most. And then we get a caution, or 2. We didn't even get 1 lap in there. We got close to a lap. Another caution with 20 to go. And we're probably good, honestly. I think we're definitely good after this yellow. The only chance is if we go past the scheduled distance, which is why I would want 1 more for that reason. But we would also probably need a long green flag run to get to that point first. I just don't see it happening. Every restart, though, it does give an opportunity for Tony Stewart or whoever would be on second on that restart to get by us. We did lose the lead once to Dale Jarrett real early in the race. So we do have to block for these first few corners. Sadler is in second now. He got by Stewart on the last go-around. 16 laps to go. Oh, I think I got hit from behind. Felt like it. Felt like Sadler got into us there. Car jumped sideways before I got to the curb. I've lost count of how many cautions we're at now. Was that number 16? Chat's going to have to help me. It was either 16 or 17. I think it was 16. I had count up to 15, and then I've lost count. I don't know if I might have missed one of the last couple or not. Green-white checker won't hurt me. Yeah, probably not. I keep forgetting I topped off a couple laps after lap 58, too. I did top off that 1 caution. Completely forgot about that. Won't break a record because there's too few of laps left. Yeah, this is true. The 12 and 8 lap green flag runs were the only reason we're probably not going to get the record. We would have needed like 1, 2, 3 lap green flag runs the entire race to break it. Not enough laps. And now that caution we just have now with 15 to go will get us to 12 to go. And what's Sadler doing out there? Probably debris off Earnhardt. I mean, he definitely didn't. Oh, yeah, his front bumper's banged up. It's amazing because you see cars around these guys with damage, and it looks like their cars are completely clear. And then there's some of them that just look like they're totaled. Like a monster truck drove over them. All right, 12 to go. Sadler still in second. Dale Jarrett in third. Green flag. We actually have 11 to go. We wasted more laps under the caution that time. Oh, Sadler, I think he got alongside of Dave Blaney, and caution's out before Blaney had a chance to potentially lose the lead. So that caution might have bailed me out there. It was going to be tough. We're going to be side by side for at least a few corners. Oh, another log jam. This one was a crash. I definitely have lost count of how many crashes versus debris yellows we've had because it's been like an even mix, to be completely honest. It's close to 50-50. It was all debris there. The first like 4 or 5 cautions were debris, and then we started getting crash after crash after crash. We're at 17 or 18 cautions in this race. We're going to have less than 10 to go. We've had 0 lap traffic, no worry of lap traffic the whole race. Getting our longest green flag run is only 12 laps, and it was the first 12 to get things started. Looking to the right side of the race car, Sadler again on the restart. A little contact, and up the track goes Blaney. Sadler's been aggressive the couple times he has gotten his car alongside the 22. And that contact actually kind of held Sadler up enough that Jarrett on the outside was able to actually get through to the lead through turn 3. To second, excuse me. So now Jarrett runs in second. 7 laps to go. Remember, he started the race on the pole, and he's led quite a few. I don't know if he's led the second most to Blaney, because Tony Stewart was ahead for a while during several cautions there after I had pit. Gave up the lead for a bit. And we've got another caution. This race is going to end under yellow. There's no way this race is going to end under green. And by the way, if there's debris on the track on the final lap, and we have to race around to it, there's no cautions on the final lap. All hell might break loose. I'll have to look at the track map. That was in the S's that time. Was that Michael Waltrip that he spun off of? The 123 spun out towards the tire barrier there in the S's. That's the first time we've seen a crash in that area of the track today. We've had 18 to 19 cautions, and that was the first one in the S's. They're finding new places to crash. Nowhere safe around this track. 3 laps to go here at Pocono. Or, Pocono. Here at Sonoma. This race is getting to me, man. Having to give up a lot of room to the inside again. Door to door for the race lead. Through turn 3. Now into turn 4. 4A, 4B will be coming up. We must have cleared him out of turn 3 because I didn't notice he was in the rear view until we entered 4B. Held our own on the outside pretty well. If we get to the white flag, again, the next flag will be the checker. There's no caution on the final lap in this game. Dale Jarrett trying to do what he can to keep pace with Dave Blaney. These guys have used the bumpers. Whether it's unintentional or intentional, they have used the bumpers. Clearly, I'm the only one that knows how to drive this racetrack. I have 0 faith in anybody else to be able to make laps at this place. Blaney gapping Jarrett a little bit. Hey, credit where credit's due. Even though Sadler wrecked once from second place on one of the restarts in turn 4B, we have still seen Jarrett and Sadler pretty much in the top 4 the entire race. Really, outside of the little bit that we were out of the lead, Jarrett, Labonte, Stewart, and Sadler have been in the top 5 the whole race. Like, even through the 2 pit stops that they have had, they still were in the top 5. Another parking lot in turn 4B. Denny Hamlin again. Oh, man, big impact there for Casey Kane. He lost a piece of his car. That was another big crash. There were quite a few cars in it. Well, it's going to set up a green-white checker. 2 to go. If we get back to the white flag, again, the next flag will end it. We did get 1 green flag lap in on that run. But caution came out before we got to the white, so we should have a restart coming. Here it is. 2 to go. Green-white checker. Final restart of the race. Gonna have to block Dale Jarrett as much as we can here. Elliott Sadler side by side with Jarrett. Oh, Jarrett jams it in there. 3 wide. We got hung up on the 38. There's a lot of damage there. We got sandwiched by Robert Yates Racing. And now they make contact through turn 3. Jared sailed it off in there, man. We could have lost the lead there. Got a quick yellow, the race would have ended. Oh, man. That would have been a crappy way to lose this thing. I literally had nowhere to go. I got sandwiched between the two of them. Oh, man. We got out of there unscathed. Jarrett and Sadler still hold on to second and third. I don't know how Sadler didn't go off track on the outside of both of us. Jarrett hit me so hard. I ricocheted into him. Actually, Sadler did fall out of third. It looks like Tony Stewart's in third now. I don't know if Sadler's in fourth or not. White flag. We got to just hope there's not going to be any debris around this racetrack. Lord, give me the strength. Barring any shenanigans here, Dave Blaney is going to stay in front of Jared on pace. I have my eyes peeled for debris around this track. Especially in this area right here. I don't see anything. Half a lap to go for Dave Blaney to get his first career road course victory here at the Infineon Raceway. We might not see a race like this on the channel ever again. At least for NASCAR 07. This is definitely the nuttiest NASCAR 07 race that we've had. Hands down. We've had some nutty fuel ones at Talladega, but I mean, this was an utter wreck fest. And we literally we weren't involved in a single one. I saw a few out of the rear view earlier. But that was as close as we had gotten. Out of turn 11. And headed for home. Dave Blaney, first career road course win as he's going to win out in wine country. And win number 11 on the season, a 1.7 second margin of victory. We actually finished the race under green. Who would have thought that was going to happen? I know once we get to the white, we didn't have to worry about a caution, but I didn't look up at the track map to see if they might have wrecked in turn 4 on the final lap again. The reason why I didn't look is because I was keeping my eyes peeled for debris, because that was more important to me. Luckily, there wasn't any. At least in front of us on the final lap. There could have been behind after the fact. We'll take the win. This one was tough for a bunch of different reasons than what we've had tough races before. And after the last 2 races, you know, getting top 5s, we ran out of gas on the final lap at Michigan and fell to 4th. Only lost a spot in that, but we didn't have race-winning cars in either one of those 2. We had a shot to win at Pocono, but we didn't have a race-winning car. Michigan, we just never really were in contention for the win the whole race. Didn't lead a single lap. So today, to lead the most laps and get the win, that's great. Under whatever circumstances we had to. Survival today. Look at the average race time, or not average, but the total race time because of all the cautions. 21 yellows is what we ended up with. I was off by like 2 of them. Yeah, if we didn't have those, I was going to say long green flag runs. If we didn't have the 12 and 8 lap green flag run, it definitely would have been achievable. 44 lead changes. That ain't accurate. We definitely didn't have that many. We didn't have enough restarts to have that many. That's a little weird. But, yeah, 69 laps led for Dave Blaney. Dale Jarrett in second after starting on the pole. Solid day. Led some laps. He led 13. 12 laps led for Tony Stewart in third. Bobby Labonte fourth without a lap led. Elliott Sadler led for 6. Finishes 5th. Joe Nemechek led 2, probably during pit stops under caution. I had no idea he was in the top 10. Honestly, outside of the top 5, I don't know where everybody was running, but the top 5, they were all there the whole race. Obviously, us included. Outside of that little bit of time in the middle of the race when I had to pit just after halfway. But we made it on 1 stop because there was 21 cautions. But yeah, Joe Nemechek, good run for him in 6th. I don't know where he's at in points. I don't think he's anywhere close to the chase. Jeff Gordon in 7th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 8th. Kevin Harvick 9th. Ryan Newman rounds out the top 10. Jeff Burton led for 3. Jimmy Johnson 16th, man. Jimmy keeps having runs like this, even though it wasn't really his fault today. But by the way, I'm thankful the first 12 laps went caution-free that I was able to get to the lead, because otherwise we would have just been stuck in that mess the whole day if we didn't have that 12-lap green flag run to kickstart it. It only took me 7 laps to get to the lead, but we needed, I mean, if we would have had a yellow at lap 1 or lap 2 when I was still back outside the top 10, I just would have been, I definitely would not have made it without getting wrecked. There's no way. They would have wrecked at turn 4 right in front of me. I would have had nowhere to go. When we were at the back of the pack for the few restarts, I backed off of it when I decided to actually get going. We ran a couple laps on the fresher tires, but yeah, we survived. 4 hours, 39 minutes, 5 seconds. That was longer than the 600. And that had 9 cautions, and it was a 600-mile race. This one was 350, and yeah, 4.5 hours, 21 yellows. It's definitely a season record that probably won't be broken. Average speed, 47.05 miles per hour. Let's see if anybody DNF'd. Who is that led a lap? Greg Quick, fantasy driver. Paul Menard apparently led 2. Again, this was probably on pit road the couple times they pitted. I don't know how else. Or a glitch. I mean, a glitch very well could have led them laps. Knowing this race. David Stremme got 2. Yeah, I mean, they were nowhere near the front. I don't know how they would have led. Matt Kenseth, Hans Good, and Casey Mears. Lap 46. I would imagine that Good and Kenseth were in a crash, considering that they were both out at lap 46. So they probably both wrecked out. Casey Mears, I mean, maybe he wrecked out too. Who knows? They could have blown smoke, caused themselves to have a DNF because of an engine failure. I'd like to think they probably just crashed out. Needless to say, 3 DNFs total in the race tonight. And we'll take a look at the point standings. You know, Greg Biffle was actually, now that I think about it, I didn't see where he finished. Biffle didn't finish in the top 10. He actually started up in the top 5 because he was in 2nd when I was driving through the field in the first dozen laps. You thought today was crazy, guys. We got Daytona tomorrow. What a wacky part of the schedule, man. We went from caution-free at Michigan to 21 cautions at Sonoma. Went from our first caution-free race to nearly breaking the NASCAR record the next night. How does that happen? Yeah, I didn't see where Biffle finished. I'm probably up over 350 because I don't think he had a top 10. 400-miler at Daytona. We're not going to have 21 cautions. I don't think we're going to have that the rest of the season. Watkins Glen might give it a run for the money, but that's 20 less laps, though. So, you know, even if we had a wreck fest there, we'd probably end up with like 15, 16, 17. 366. 520 over Harvick in 3rd, who did win last night at Michigan. Fuel mileage. It looked like it was going to be fuel mileage today. Ended up really not being fuel mileage. That's the only time we're going to race here on the game, though. You know, NASCAR 8 might be the same. Who knows? Hopefully they have it fixed. I have to go back, but I don't remember racing like this at Sonoma on the custom schedule season. Like, I remember having a regular race there where we would have a few cautions sporadically because of, you know, debris or a stack up, but I don't remember our first Sonoma race on the custom schedule season being like that or anywhere close to it. Year or two before it became the Coke 400. Yeah, I don't know when it became the Coke Zero 400. I know the 2009 race was definitely Coke Zero. And obviously 06 is Pepsi. I don't know about 2007 or 2008, what it might have been. Look at the bubble real quick. Jarrett, top 3. Sadler, top 5, and both of them led laps. So they got 5 bonus points. Matt Kenseth with a DNF now drops to 9th. Bobby Labonte, let's go. 43. Not GGR Bobby Labonte, but Petty Enterprise Bobby Labonte is in the top 10 in the chase. Tony Stewart had a bounce-back performance after a DNF yesterday at Michigan. He does end up getting a top 5 today, so much needed. Led some laps as well. He's 11. Jimmy Johnson finished 16th. Falls back a spot. He was 11th going in. I think he was only 6 points back of 10th. And I believe, well, who was it? Sadler? I think Sadler was in 10th. Let me check real quick. I have it at the top of the screen. I can't see that throughout the stream like you do, though. Oh, no, Labonte was... Okay, so Labonte was 10th yesterday. But he was only 6 points ahead of Jimmy Johnson. Labonte getting in the top 10. Johnson finishing further back. Now we got a 90-point difference. I think Labonte got credited with laps led, too. Yeah, Jimmy falls top 5 for the 43. Kurt Busch still hovering. Truex, I think he moved up 3 spots. He was 19th. Where's Joe Nemechek? He had a 6th place finish today. He's 21st. Tied for 20th. I want a Cinderella story. I mean, honestly, well, Elliott Sadler actually made... Who would be a Cinderella story? Because I think all the guys in... Well, I mean, obviously us, because we're driving as Dave Blaney, but other than us, like, we're obviously going to take a spot for somebody good based off that alone. I mean, I think Bobby Labonte would probably be the biggest underdog, even though he's a former champion, just because the 43 of Penny Enterprise. To get in the top 10 in points. Like, Sadler actually made the chase a couple of times. Dale Jarrett at the end of his career wasn't this good, but I think he made the chase in 05. So that was only a year before this game came out. So that's probably not surprising that he's, right there. I think it's shocking that Tony Stewart, the defending champion's out. Which actually, in real life, I think Stewart missed the chase in 06. I think he won the title in 05, and then he missed the chase entirely the next season, which... So far, this game is replicating that, so we could repeat history there. Jimmy Johnson was the actual champion this year, so the fact that he's out, actually, that's shocking. We still have 10 races to go, though. Mark Martin is definitely chase caliber. Kurt Busch, I mean, he won the championship 2 years before this. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this goes. It'll be fun. 10 races left. Daytona again tomorrow night. That's going to really change the points a lot, I'm sure, as well. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good rest of your Tuesday. See you next time. 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Pepsi 400 Daytona.